Local classes are classes that are defined in a block. So a local class can be inside a method body in a for loop or in an if clause. So here is an example. In this example, we have a static method. Inside this static method, we have a local class. What the local class does is it checks the phone number and return the formatted phone number. It remove any character which is not number and validate do the validation and finally return it. If we run this program, the first phone number is valid. Next phone number is not have the correct length and it's invalid. There are several points the example is trying to demonstrate. Let's take a look. So assessing members of the enclosing class. First, a local class has access to the members of its enclosing class. In this example, local class example is accessed inside the local class. See the regular expression. However, if we remove this static, it's no longer valid. You cannot make a static reference to the non-static field regular expression. You see, because the enclosing method is static, you have to you cannot access any instance variables defined in the enclosing class. So you have to access a static because the method itself is static. However, if we just remove this static keyword and we don't declare this method as static, then we are okay to access instance variable of regular expression. Of course, here we cannot call the method directly. We need to first create an instance. New local class example. Then we call the validated phone number. Okay. That's the first point it's trying to demonstrate about the inner class can access all the can access to the members of the enclosing class if they are static. If they are within a static method, they can only access static variables in the enclosing class. Here, in addition, a local class has access to local variable. However, a local class can only access local variable that are defined final or effectively final. You see, the enclosing method defines the number length, which is used inside the local class. However, if we remove this final, it is still valid because Java 8 allow you to access the effectively final and local variables. However, if you are trying to modify it, it's not okay anymore. You see, you cannot modify it. Local variable member lengths defined in an enclosing scope must be final or effectively final. So you can only it's read only. You cannot modify it. That's not allowed. Besides, they have access to the enclosing method as parameters. So this is valid in Java 8 and later. Okay, print original numbers. Let's print it. We have phone number 1, phone number 2. Let's print the original numbers. Number 1, print. Okay, original numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4, 5, whatever. But we can print it. The shadowing and the local classes is follow the same rule as inner class, normal inner class. So if we came here, the enclosing class have regular expression. We can have a inside the class, we can declare the same regular expression. And this time, this one wins. If we are saying regular expression, it's a closest one instead of the regular expression defined in the enclosing class. So if we run the program this time, we will see a different. Both are invalid because now the dash is considered as valid, and when they check the number length, none of them have the right number length. That means this regular expression is used. However, if we are trying to use the correct regular expression, we can reference this. This time we bring the order back. You see, again. Let's go back here. Local classes are similar to inner classes. Local classes are similar to inner classes because they cannot define or declare any static members. Local classes in static methods, such as a class phone number, which is defined in a static method valid phone number, can only refer to static members of the enclosing class. For example, if you do not define the member variable regular expression as static, then the Java compiler will not allow you to do that. We already changed it to non-static, so we get access to the regular expression in the enclosing class, even without declaring it as static. However, here, if we are trying to define any static int a equal 10, this is not allowed. You see, you cannot be served to a type. Int, okay, int. And this time, it will say the value of the field phone number is not used. The field a cannot be declared as static in a non-static inner type. So you cannot do that. However, if this is a final, it is fine. Effectively, so the only static class member inside the inner class you can declare as a final static. This is allowed. Let's continue. Local classes are non-static because they have access to instance members of the enclosing block. Consequently, they cannot contain most kinds of the static declarations. We just showed you. This is, and here the interface. We cannot define interface inside the local class or in the enclosing method. Interface have to be declared under the top level classes. So let's go here. If we are trying to declare an interface here, what it says. The member interface hello there can only be declared inside a top level class or interfaces in a static context. So this is not allowed. Here you get the same error. You cannot declare it inside the method, and this is not even a good syntax. Okay. This method, you pass in this. Okay, inside the method body. Let's see, I don't allow. Same error. You have to declare it at the top level. So if you do that, put it here, compiler is happy. And besides, if you don't have any grading, so this is empty interface, then your method can even, the inner class can even implement it. This is totally fine. Okay, this is that. And let's come here. You cannot declare static initializers or members interface in a local class. So here we are trying to define a static instance, a static member, which is not allowed. We just showed you. So if here you're trying to say define this as static, don't allow it. Again, member cannot be declared as static. Static methods can only be declared in a static or top level type. Okay, this is not a top level type, so no static. This is our say hello in English. This method have a local class. Again, it have a static. This is not allowed. Let's remove it. And if you want to say call this non-static method, you need an instance. Okay, now you can say hello. Um, let's get a reference of a local example. And through there, we can call the two methods, also called say goodbye in English. Let's run it again. And after print out, it say bye bye. That is that. And again, it says a final variable. So instead of that, it's put it as a static final variable. So I don't want to say bye bye. I want to say farewell. Farewell. Oh, damn it. Okay, let's put a public static final. You need a final, otherwise it won't work. Bye bye. Static final string. Now it's all okay. Let's say bye bye bye. Okay, that is the rule for static final. So in case you haven't remembered, I remove the final, it won't work. If I removed static, it's fine. I can remove both static and final, it's also fine. But you cannot have a static, which is not a final. That is all the points the tutorial is trying to teach us. So in summary, the inner class, the local class, they cannot have a ses modifier. So if you try to use public, what will happen? If you say unequal modifier for local classes, only abstract or final is permitted. So public is not fine. You can say final. If you say private, no way. Final is okay. You can say abstract. Abstract. It is okay. But those quarter is not okay. So in that case, let's have phone number 2, and we are trying to have a phone number extends phone number 2. Number 2. Okay. In this case, class. We need to say class. And it complains. I don't know what a phone number 2 is because it haven't defined. This is special for the local class because in this case the order does matter. You have to define it after you define the phone number. Of course, you need to change this to phone number 2. All right. Still, if you put it back, you don't know what phone number 2 is. So you cannot do that. You have to declare it after you declare phone number 2. Again, it's complaining because you need to provide the constructor. So let's just do public phone number. And why don't you copy paste the constructor here, phone number 2. Phone number 2, and in this case, we will say phone number, and we call super phone number. We should be good. And we run the program, we get exactly the same result as before. So we just extend it and abstract class. So in summary, a local class can only have final and abstract. They cannot have public, private, etc. And they cannot be declared static. Okay, if you're trying to declare this as static, it's not happy. Not here. Let's declare it here. Let's say if you declare it as static, it's not happy. Okay. And it cannot have non-final static members. If you have static, it have to be final. Otherwise, it's not okay. They have access to all the field of the enclosing class. Regular expression can be accessed inside, even though it is private. So the local class can have access to all the class members of the enclosing class, as long as that is allowed. For example, if the method is defined as a static, then this one have to be static in order to access it. That's fair enough, right? They do not have access to local variables of a method unless those variables are final or effectively final. So, for example, phone number, the formatted phone number, number length, let's say the number length, if they are not effectively final, if you want to change it, now it's not okay. They have to be effectively final. That means nobody changes it. We have covered everything the OCP JP we're trying to test.